Hey guys, it's time for another installment in my Jonathan Kellerman vlogs. For those who are unaware, I have been reading the murder mysteries by author Jonathan Kellerman and rereading them. I reread them all in chronological order from start to finish. I've been doing this for years. It's just something I do to de-stress, occupy myself on an airplane, etc. And as with a lot of times when you reconsume art, listen to the same music, watch the same television shows and movies, you have strong feelings about it. There's things that you wonder. There's things you wish that the characters or the author would have done differently. There's things you want to ask the author about and stuff like that. So that's what these vlogs are for me. These are a way for me to talk with other people who might be as invested in these books as I am. So I hope that's you. And if it is, please comment, like, share, all the good stuff. So let's talk about Twisted. Twisted is the second book in the Petra Conner series. We'll edit that in post. Petra Conner is a detective that we meet through Alex and Milo, who are the main characters in Kellerman's murder mysteries. And I believe they're referenced in this book, but they don't actually appear, which is usually the case with Petra's books. No, Alex appeared in the end of the last one. I don't think he appears in this one. And we'll give you a brief synopsis. Just in case you haven't read it. Again, these videos are designed for people who have read it, so if you haven't read it, this is not for you, but welcome anyways. There will be spoilers ahead, so again, I suggest you go and get the book and read it and come back and then finish this video. So brief synopsis. So Detective Petra Conner is called to the scene where 4 teenagers are murdered at a concert. And 3 of them they can easily identify, the 4th they can't. And they pull aside some witnesses, and one of the witnesses seems very suspicious to Petra, so she makes a note about her, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Petra has an intern named Isaac Gomez, who is a young genius who's getting a PhD and an MD and a bunch of degrees, and he's working on crime statistics right now. And so he's been assigned to the LAPD, specifically Detective Conner, and he has unearthed that every year for the past, I think it's like 7 years or something like that, 6 years, there's been a murder on June 28th. And they all have the same weapon, but the victims are very different. Everything else about them is different. So other than the date and the weapon type are exactly the same. Everything else is different. So no one's detected this pattern before. And but he did. And so, and I don't remember what date exactly it starts, but it's close to June 28th, so they think it's about to happen again. And so they're trying to solve both crimes at once. And, spoiler alert, the 2 crimes aren't related, but of course the work that they do together is. So, okay, that's my synopsis. And let's talk about my notes. So, Petra's second solo book, better than the first one. Although I like the first one. I liked Billy Straight, but this one I think is better than Billy Straight. Introduces Isaac Gomez, who is a great character. Like most of the non-series books, Alex and Milo are referenced, but they don't appear. Usually, and this is a pet peeve of mine, in the non-series books, the main character, in this case Petra, in another book, Dr. Grace Blades, and I can't remember if there's any others, the main character's like, oh, should I call Alex? Should I call Milo or Alex's cop friend? No, I shouldn't bother them. And yes, you should. Because we know Alex and Milo from the other books, we know they wouldn't mind being called at all, and they would in fact help solving the crime, but they never do. Yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine, if you haven't noticed. So I don't like that they just dismissed Kathy Margary off the bat. She was a character from the last time we see Petra and Eric stall, which was a Cold Heart, I think. And yeah, she was like a character that kind of appeared midway through that book, and then at the beginning of this book, they're just like, hey, she exists and she's gone. And I didn't like that. I think she deserved more than that after she showed up for Eric. Also, Petra and Eric, and then again, here's a spoiler, going from awkward in the last book to a happy couple in this book also just seems weird and clungy to me. What is deep dish pizza in Los Angeles? Petra orders a deep dish pizza. And as a pizza snob, much to the dismay of my wife and anyone else that has talked to me about pizza, I take pizza very seriously. New York style, New Jersey, New York Neapolitan, Chicago thin crust, pub style, Chicago deep dish, Chicago stuffed pizza, Detroit style, and regular, like actual Neapolitan. And beyond that, I don't think anything else really counts as pizza. Los Angeles is not known for pizza. They have lots of really great food, but no, not pizza. So I suspect that whatever she called out for was pretty terrible, and I want to know if it was, but I suspect that it was. Okay, enough of my pizza rant. I should do a whole book, a whole whole video ranting about pizza. That would probably go viral, but then I'd be ostracized from every pizza restaurant. Flaco reminds me of Efren from a future book. I wish the Kellerman would have made him the same character. Like, he would have made, like, Flaco would have reappeared in the book that Efren's in instead of Efren, or vice versa. But I also wonder that if he would have done that, would I have been like, oh, that's too cute. Like, they just coincidentally happened. So I don't know. But, you know, it's always the road less traveled, the grass is greener, whatever. So, as it stands right now, I wish that he would have done it that way. He would have made him the same person. So, remember in the beginning how I talked about how there were 4 teenagers murdered at a concert and one of them was identified, leaving 3, but we never talk about those 3 again. Never. Like, throughout the whole rest of the book, it's just like, those poor kids, they exist? Yeah. And I'm just like, I know that you kind of assumed that the unidentified girl was the key, and you were right, but it just makes me think, like, why didn't you care about the other 3? Anyhow, so how did Clara find the book? I won't give away what book it is. She just basically says, I found this. It wasn't even where it was supposed to be. Okay, so then how did you find it? Okay, big spoiler. I'm glad they killed off Sholkoff. Am I saying his name right? Probably. Nobody liked him. Like, literally, I can't think of anybody in the books who cared for him. I'm kind of sad for his wife, and I wonder what would have prompted her. You would think that she would have been glad to be rid of him. So, anyhow, but yeah, I'm glad about that. Okay, so this is my biggest pet peeve, and I wrote it in my notes in all caps. What was Isaac's revelation that made him take the Toyota out in the middle of the night? And how did he know where to go? Did he just guess, okay, it's a children's hospital, Western Peds, because that's the children's hospital that shows up in the Kellerman series, you know? How did he figure out that Petra and Eric were wasting their time? I'm trying not to give away too much. I've reread and rechecked the book so much, and he's reading the chat room, and then out of nowhere he's like, oh my god, I need to leave the house. But it never, unless I'm missing something, it never gives away what the revelation was. Like, how did you figure it out? I must have missed something. So if I did, please tell me in the comments, let me know. Okay, last note, kind of on that same thing. Did we know the brother, and I won't say whose brother, but you'll know if you read the book. Did we know the brother was an artist before the end of the book? Because that would have clued into how Isaac knew that they were wrong if we somehow put that together. But I can't find any reference to him that says that we knew that. So, okay. If somebody, yes, I have here in my notes. Every time I read this book, I figure I must have missed something in the big reveal. So if anybody can help me out, that would be great. Okay. Next book in the series is back to Alex and Milo, and it's called Rage, and it's not one of my favorites. And sometimes when I film these, I'm way ahead. Like, I've read several books ahead and made notes, just haven't gotten around to filming them. At this point, I was looking around for my phone, and I'm using it to film. Then all the books are in my phone on my Kindle. So there it is, right in there. At this point, I'm in the middle of Rage, and it is not one of my favorites. It's not a poorly written book. It's not one of the lesser Kellerman books. It's just a really dark and depressing book. It's a really sad book. I don't enjoy it. But we'll talk about that next video. So I hope you guys, oh, by the way, I hope you like my new camera angle. I'm trying filming with the phone instead of the webcam. I don't feel like these videos are worth breaking out like a camera, because that's just so much more work, and it's really just to see me, and like, who cares, right? I mean, I'm handsome either way it goes. But the phone, ironically, is better quality than the webcam. So if you like this this camera angle, we'll edit that in post. This camera angle better, say so in the comments. And I will see you next vlog. Thanks for watching.